Folks, if you've been longing for a reset, a fresh start, a new beginning, I've got some good news for you because this week is chock full of them. Eclipse season and Mercury retrograde are ending. Aries season and the astrological new year are beginning. I think that this is such an exciting week astrologically, so let's get into it. Today is Monday, March 16th, and a few hours ago, the moon moved from Aquarius into dreamy, boundless spiritual Pisces. Then tomorrow, Tuesday the 17th, there's nothing of particular note in the skies, but on Wednesday, March 18th, we have several juicy transits to talk about. First of all, Venus is at 15 degrees of Aries, forming a square to Jupiter at 15 degrees of Cancer. Now, even though a square is usually an aspect of friction and challenge, any contact between these two benefic planets is generally considered, well, beneficial. Aries is brave and bold, while Cancer tends to be more shy and quiet, so these two cardinal signs can certainly be at odds with each other, but they can also help to balance each other out. And a connection of Jupiter helps to expand the relational topics of Venus. The big picture view of Jupiter in carrying Cancer can have a positive impact on the fight for justice and equality that's always important to Venus, especially while in Aries. And this is a good day for financial abundance, for material generosity, for inspired creativity, for social connection, for loving relationships, for connecting to your values. It's a good moment to care for yourself and treat yourself. We do want to be careful about not overextending, overindulging, overpromising, or overdoing it too much on Wednesday. But this is overall a lovely signature to have in the chart of this new moon. The other lovely transit happening on this day is between the Sun at 28 degrees of Pisces, forming a sextile to Uranus at 28 degrees of Taurus, getting ready to finally enter Gemini late next month. I can't believe it. Now, this sextile here can really stimulate the forward-thinking, revolutionary values of Uranus and help us to incorporate them more into our behaviors and our identities. A Sun contact with Uranus always wants to help you become more true to your authentic self, to decondition toxic programming from the overculture, to free ourselves and to liberate the collective. This is another good reason why Wednesday is such a lovely fresh start and gives us some really good energy to work with to make changes in our lives and in the world. And we can incorporate the compassion of Pisces and the groundedness of Taurus, even as we navigate the unexpected events that Uranus tends to bring about. So that's just Wednesday afternoon, but then that evening we have the new moon with the Sun and Moon conjunct at 28.5 degrees of Pisces. And I want to actually pull up the chart of this new moon to show you here. Now, first of all, this new moon means that we're now fully out of eclipse season. Yay! So you can return to your regularly scheduled programming around magic and manifestation and whatnot. A new moon is always a fresh start, right? It's the end of an old lunar cycle and the beginning of a new one. It's a time to plant seeds, whether figuratively or maybe even literally. And a Pisces new moon specifically is such a fertile time to set intentions around spirituality, creativity, and empathy. This is an opportunity to dissolve old limits and boundaries and restrictions. It's a moment to honor our sensitivity and our interconnectedness. And this new moon in Pisces is really encouraging us to dream, to envision the new world that we're trying to build. Because let's face it, our society is at a breaking point, right? The cracks in the systems are really showing, but we can't cultivate a new garden unless we can dream it, envision it, plan it, and plant those seeds, which is what Wednesday and this new moon is all about. And of course, this new moon over here in Pisces sits in that sextile to Uranus that I was just talking about, giving us even more power and inspiration to create change. The other notable aspect with this new moon is that it's only a few degrees away from Saturn and Neptune, which are now in early Aries. And Neptune is the ruling planet of Pisces and this new moon, making it even more important to consider here. As I've shared before, Saturn and Neptune are a really powerful combination for change, for dissolving old structures and building new ones. And I think what this new moon is doing, like some other transits that we chatted about recently, is helping us to bridge from Pisces season to Aries season and from an old era to a new one. This new moon is happening here at the end of Pisces, only 2 days from the start of Aries season. It's conjunct Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, which is currently in Aries, while Mars, the ruler of Aries, is currently in Pisces. And for the astro nerds out there, you might recognize this as a phenomenon known as mutual reception, when the rulers of two signs are in each other's signs, helping to tie these two very different energies together. Oh, and then the moon is going to move from Pisces into Aries later that evening as well. So, TLDR, this new moon is encouraging us to dream, and then it's giving us a real nudge toward acting on those dreams. The healing waters of Pisces are trying to help to soothe and ease the birth or rebirth of this messy new world. So, Wednesday's a big day, but it might not even be the most transformational day of this important week in the stars. Thursday the 19th is going to be pretty quiet, but then Friday the 20th is a big, exciting day. First of all, this is the spring or vernal equinox, which is called Ostara for those of us who celebrate the neo-pagan wheel of the year. So this is the time when day and night are of equal length. It's a day of balance, which is a powerful topic to reflect on and set intentions about this week. And after Friday, the days will be longer than the nights and continue getting longer as we approach the summer solstice. So we're now officially entering the lightest half of the year, a time of flourishing life and energy and optimism. Gotta love it. At least if you're in the northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere people, as you know, things are kind of reversed for you, right? But this day is also considered the astrological new year because the spring equinox always coincides exactly with the sun leaving the last zodiac sign of Pisces and entering the first zodiac sign of Aries. So this is a time of rebirth and renewal. Happy New Year, friends. And happy Aries season and happy birthday to all the Aries suns out there. Aries, the cardinal fire sign, the sign of taking action and getting shit started, the sign of the ram, which will boldly go after its desires and fight to protect what it cares about. Aries is the sign of the warrior, which is a powerfully relevant archetype these days. And so Aries is a sign associated with conflict. Could this season add even more fuel to the fire of warmongering, global conflict, and those who are doing harm for greedy, evil purposes? Honestly, yeah. But it's Aries season for us too. And I'm really hoping that we can harness this bold, brave energy to take action, to fight back, to protect ourselves and our neighbors, and to make a stand for what we believe in. Now, it just so happens that another huge thing is happening on Friday, which might help us to access more of this fiery Aries energy. I'm talking about the end of Mercury retrograde. Woohoo! Now, listen, if you haven't taken advantage of this Mercury retrograde in Pisces to rest and reflect, I really recommend that you try to do so this week before Friday. Mercury retrogrades happen for a reason, giving us the opportunity to course correct. And if we don't take that opportunity, then we run the risk of galloping in the totally wrong direction for the next several months until this happens again. But when Mercury stations direct at 8.5 degrees of Pisces on Friday afternoon, more things will start to move forward again. Hopefully we'll have more energy and clarity, less fatigue and confusion. Logistics, travel, information, and communication should run a bit more smoothly again. We're less likely to run into issues when we're starting new projects or making big decisions. And I just love how this harmonizes so powerfully with the fresh start energy of the other transits this week. Late on Friday evening, the moon will also move out of Aries into steady, sensual Taurus. And then the good astrological news keeps coming on Saturday, March 21st, because Mars will be at 15 degrees of Pisces, forming a flowing trine to Jupiter in the middle of Cancer. And this transit echoes some of the themes we've already touched on here, expanding our energy, accessing more flow, moving forward. The fiery energies of Mars and Jupiter can get really hot and intense, but this trine is between two water signs, which emphasizes the emotion, intuition, spirituality, and healing in the potentials of this transit. So we're really being encouraged here to take compassionate, caring action, to be brave and generous, to have faith in love and empathy, to connect with the universe in a life-affirming way. We do want to make sure that all of that is grounded in concrete action and not just staying in our heads. And of course, there is also a chance that this transit could expand conflict and aggression from those with bad intentions as well. But if you already know how bad things are, I think it's more helpful to focus on the potential energy that we can harness out of this trine, and there's a lot of it. That then brings us to the final transit of this week, which is probably the most challenging one. On Sunday, March 22nd, the Sun will be conjunct Neptune at just under 2 degrees of Aries. Now, at best, this transit can have us embodying the brave compassion, the energetic vision, the boundless drive, the spiritually aligned action that Neptune in Aries can represent. But, honestly, this could definitely be a messy and uncomfortable moment because Neptune brings fogginess and illusion. The Sun represents our identity, but Neptune transcends that ego, which could just leave us feeling confused and even delusional. You might feel that your energy is clouded or just dissipating like steam. You might feel tempted to numb out or just try to escape from everything in an unhealthy way. And of course, this transit could also amp up the religious conflicts that are racking our world these days. So Sunday is an important day to focus on staying as grounded and clear as possible. And I do think this is another transit helping us to bridge from the Neptunian Piscean dreams and visions to the bold action of Aries and the Sun. So it's an interesting way to end this very transformative week. And that's it for this week's astrological weather report. I'm Alice Pope. Logan, back to you.